Welcome, Realm family, to another episode of Wrestling with the Realm podcast. I'm Brian, one half of the Power and Glory of Wrestling podcast, and on the other side, he's the Hercules to my Paul Roma. It's my guy, Will. Will, what are we talking about?
Guys, we made it. It is WrestleMania week. We are talking WrestleMania 41. What a
Can't
man,
believe
Brian.
it's here.
I can't either. It feels like literally just a few months ago was WrestleMania 40.
Feels like
And
it.
I guess when you're living down such an amazing WrestleMania, it's hard to move on. But yeah, we're here. We really are. And looking into this card as I'm going over making my predictions, I got notes. Brian saw me at the desk today, probably like jumping up and down. There was some stuff I was writing down, and although I am the Tozawa,
You're the
uh,
Otis.
I might be Otis. I'm definitely Otis.
I could be Otis too, and you could be. You know what? We
Maybe
could
we're
both be
both, yeah,
Otis and Tozawa. We're both the same. Yeah.
we're we are, and although we are just the Alpha Academy of booking, like I hope you guys like some of the stuff I got written down today. But that's besides the point. As I'm going through this card, I wasn't super excited for it, but match by match, I'm like, oh my gosh, this could happen. This could
Yep.
happen. And you know, Triple H, he saves his big moments for WrestleMania. And man, I am so excited now that I am sitting here talking to you guys. And it's our first WrestleMania doing this podcast here at
Yeah.
WWR. Just get out of the way right away. We're grateful for you guys. And the growth we've had since doing this since December, and we are very grateful. Our
Yep.
first video
Yeah,
was the
for
Blue
real.
Skies booking all the way out to here where we are right now, and we got half of it right.
Yeah,
I
we didn't get everything wrong. It's just the
maybe
way we got there was not how we
yeah,
thought.
maybe 25% right. I'll
Yeah,
give it that. But we're very
17 and three
grateful for you
quarters.
guys. Yeah, that's some Steiner math right there. We need some Steiner
Oh, it
math
is
on how
Steiner
we got
math.
there. Yes, but very grateful for you guys. Let's just get into it.
No, I think it's awesome that this is the WWR's first WrestleMania that we're covering, and it's the second WrestleMania ever in my town in Vegas, and I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, that's
Like
awesome.
it's like kismet. We're
Yeah,
having such a good time doing this, and it's like everything is just coming at a great time.
yeah, God's work, man, for sure. It is definitely great to be doing this with you guys. Brian, let me start us off with our first match. I'm excited for this one. If this
Ooh.
kicks off the show, I would be thrilled. Well, Brian, I'll start us off with our first match then. I have who most people say is the greatest luchador of all time, but they're lying
Penta?
to their never. Uh, he'll come later in the show. Um, but Rey Mysterio versus the actual greatest
Oh,
luchador to walk this planet, El Grande Americano,
it's my guy.
representing the Gulf of America proudly. I mean, El Grande Americano. Brian, do you have any predictions for this match? Anything you want to touch on?
In this match, I'm gonna go with El Grande Americano.
Awesome.
I think he goes over because I think there's more to this story to tell with him. And if we don't get a mask versus mask match somewhere down the line with El Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio or one of these other big luchadors, the aforementioned Penta, the greatest luchador going right now in whatever hotel he's staying at, in whatever room he is in, may be the greatest luchador in the world. Um, but
Right.
but I feel like we're going somewhere where there's more to this story, and those masks are going to be part of it because we haven't had that stipulation for this match yet. So it feels like there's more to go with this. And maybe that's SummerSlam, maybe that's Backlash. I don't know, but I'm going with El Grande Americano.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the fans in the opposite direction. I got Rey Mysterio because this feels very one-off-ish. It's interesting you say that there's more to give in this story, and I would love that. I think this could be built out till
Yeah.
SummerSlam, like you said. Um, WWE's often lazy with Rey Mysterio, though.
Hmm.
Booking of Rey Mysterio. Um, they love him being there at Mania. He is one of the most popular superstars of all time. Seriously, like
Yep.
I know us as fans might not often think about him like that, but what this man means to the global fan base of WWE is above and beyond.
Yeah.
So they love the instant gratification with him. We
My
saw,
wife loves Rey Mysterio.
oh, I
Like
mean,
that's somebody even from when she was younger and her brothers would be watching and she'd be or her brother would be watching and she'd be watching too. She always liked Rey Mysterio. So it's a
yeah,
testament to him that we're in 2025 and he has young fans, he has older fans, and he's still relevant. And like you said, he's that popular still to this day. So
yes.
I get why he's there.
Oh yeah, he needs to be there
Mhm.
and deserves every bit of it. We saw the instant payoff with the Dominic Mysterio matches. Like, it's a crime that Dom didn't pin him at WrestleMania.
Mhm.
Um, that could have been built out for so long, but they often just turn that feud on and off because
True.
they both instant love for Ray on one hand, instant heat for Dom on the other.
Yep.
You can have that go whenever you want. Um, so I think Ray's gonna win. They love giving Ray wins at WrestleMania. Uh, since WrestleMania 39, he's been undefeated. Um, so I think it's another win for him. I think he um tries because he needs to avenge Dragon Lee. I think he takes off the mask of El Grande Americano
Oh.
and reveals whoever he must be. I think it might actually be good that he reveals who El Grande Americano is, so it can just be put to bed. It is not Chad Gable.
You know what they should do is just have Chad Gable be at ringside on commentary for that match, so everybody can stop with the conspiracy theories and the misinformation and all of
Yes.
this.
Oh
Chad
my gosh.
Gable,
Thank you.
um, the internet wrestling community is all over this Chad Gable thing. I saw something today. They're trying to match up a tattoo that they might have seen. It's like,
Oh gosh.
come
It'll
on, you
be
guys.
like,
I
yeah.
mean, how identifying our tattoos? Hmm. I mean, you can't tell anything by a tattoo. So,
No.
but you're right. So here's the interesting thing is when we're talking about El Grande Americano, they set up the loaded mask. Whatever he put in there, whatever Ivy Nile gave him, they've only set that up once. So that's what makes me start to think that may be how he gets that win with Rey Mysterio. Is that
I
we
like that
we
theory.
we've set up that this is a tactic that the Great One likes to use. So we'll see. Or like you said, you make an excellent point of how they book Rey Mysterio with a lot of these programs, and you're not wrong. And that's the one thing that I definitely wasn't considering. But you're right.
Yeah, I mean, as easy as that could be El Grande Americano's upside, it could be his downfall too.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, so we'll see. I'm so excited for this match. You're talking about two of the greatest luchadors of all time.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, if this opened the show, great opener. It would be a great
Yep.
opener. Let's move on to our first women's match of the card. I have Jade
Oh,
Cargill versus
yes.
Naomi next, and I am so excited
Me
what you
too.
have to say about this
Oh,
because we could easily be on different pages here.
ooh, I jumped the gun and thought you were going to say you are so excited for this match. I am so excited for this match.
Oh
Um,
yeah. for sure.
It's kind of like what you were saying is that you go, it feels like the build up to this Mania and a lot of these stories that have been building up haven't been that big, grand epic that we were shown last year with Cody. I feel like we're now in like seasons of Stranger Things with wrestling, where all of these stories are playing out a long game somehow. You're going to get little flourishes and little flashes of really cool, important things, but that big climax doesn't feel like it's at this WrestleMania yet. Um,
Yeah.
and this one is another one of those instances where you have uh, the attack on Jade Cargill. We went from she gets attacked, now it's a mystery. Well, who attacked her? Now we find out who did it. We kind of got the why she did it, and this is going to be their big first match after the fact. But it feels like just like with El Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio, I feel like this thing still has more juice in it too. Whether that includes Bianca Belair, we might get to that later. But I think in this match, you're getting a taste of the kind of storytelling that Triple H has been showing us that he's been doing. This has already been a long story, but it doesn't feel like it's had a lot happen in it because of
Yep.
the way they've been telling it. And I'm cool with that because I feel like it really keeps us the unpredictability going because
Yes, sir.
there's so much time in between big events that other little things can happen, which kind of makes the whole roster better. But I digress. For this match, I'm picking Naomi day all day in this match. My biggest hope is that Jade Cargill continues doing good work. We've both said it. She's been doing a really good job since she came back at Elimination Chamber. But this is going to be the first huge test now. She had a good match with Liv. There was a couple of spots that she seemed iffy on, but it was a good match. Now you're at WrestleMania. This is her first WrestleMania, right?
Second, she was a part of that damage control versus
Oh,
Naomi
she was. But
Bianca.
that's
Yeah. One hot tag.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
that's not the same thing as you're out there with you have no net. You have nobody to tag out with. You don't have somebody on the side. You can't catch your breath. Um, so I'm hoping that she has a good showing and continues that upward momentum. But I definitely think you have to have Naomi go over. I think Jade doesn't lose anything by losing this match. It's a
Nope.
win for her if she has a good match. If they put on a good match, that's a win for her, whether she goes over or not. But for Naomi and for this new version and this new character that she's playing, it's like super important that she wins this match. Um, because now you can start to build her as a heel with everybody else in that division if she can take out Jade Cargill. So I'm going Naomi all the way. Hank, that one's for you, buddy.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. This is Naomi's match to win.
Hmm.
There is if she loses, there's no more build on this storyline. Jade gets her payback. She cashes her check. She takes Naomi out, and there is no more storyline anymore. If you want to build, like I'm not going to show my hand here. If you want to build to something down the line with Jade Cargill, Naomi, someone else, who knows, you need to continue this storyline. You need this to continue. That doesn't happen with a Jade Cargill win for the same reasons Brian just said. Literally copy and paste. This is Naomi's match to win.
Yep.
And it is good that she is going to win it. It's deserving. She has had a phenomenal year, top to bottom, underrated for Naomi. She's amazing, and this new character is amazing. So double thumbs up for Naomi's all around calendar year, and her picking up a Mania win would be great. So I'm gonna go Naomi as well.
Ooh, it's two Naomis. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who I thought we were gonna disagree there. I thought you were
Oh,
gonna go Jade.
I'm not.
Um,
I'm never going Jade.
until it's
Not
that
yet.
time. And then we're going to be on these predictions videos spamming Jade Cargill wins
Yeah.
at some point, a year down the line. Let's move on to our next match, unless you have any more.
No, I'm good.
All right. I have the World Tag Team Championship match between the War Raiders versus the New Day. Um, Quick before we start this,
Yeah.
it's a shame, unless something happens on SmackDown, that this is the tag team division that is getting showcased. That is not because I don't like the War Raiders. I love the War Raiders. I love the New Day. Love the New Day since I was a kid. That SmackDown tag division has been on fire for the last year.
Yep.
Um, and I know some people online have said, well, they were at the Rumble, and that didn't go particularly great because the crowd wasn't into it. Well, maybe we need to stop hosting stuff in Indianapolis.
There you go.
They're not a great crowd. Um, but besides the point, this division has been on fire on SmackDown. And although they get to probably main event the SmackDown before Mania, they should be on this card. 100%. It's a shame
Yeah.
that they're. I digress. I had to get that in.
Get it
Uh,
in. I was thinking the same thing.
so if you would have asked me a week ago who I would have thought would win this match, I would have said the New Day. They could probably take those belts and elevate them. And they probably need a little elevation. They need a strong champion, very similar how DIY was for SmackDown.
Hmm.
Raw needs a strong champion. Um, but I'm going the War Raiders, and here's why. I think you can get that amount of heat, that amount of rub off of this match by Big E coming
Mm.
back and screwing over the New Day. I think if Big E comes out, the new ref bump or something, New Day is gonna cheat to win like they've done the last few weeks, ever since they've turned heel, really. Um, and Big E comes out and saves the War Raiders and then raises their hand after the match. Big E is such a
Yeah.
beloved figure in the wrestling world that might be enough to build something with the War Raiders and also continue to put more heat on the New Day and almost renew and recapitalize on that heel turn with Big E because they really didn't do a good job of capitalizing one of the best heel turns in a very long time. Um, so I want to see them try to kind of redo it. The New Day can build steam and eventually take the title off of the War Raiders at a later date. I don't feel like this feud's over as well, so I'm gonna go with the War Raiders. What do you got, Brian?
Ooh, it's interesting that I'm gonna go New Day,
Hmm.
and it's interestingly enough for one of the reasons that you said that they've totally mismanaged the New Day since they had
Yeah.
this heel turn. So you're either going to continue on that path, which does nothing for the New Day. They are over as heels right now. They are hot as heels right now. New Day wins. New Day goes over, and you capitalize on the heel heat that they have. I mean, you could always have a comeback match with them and War Raiders with Big E. There's all kinds of stuff that you could do after the fact, but it seems like it would be a crime if they don't try to capitalize with New Day on the grandest stage of them all. Like if you're going to do it now because now is the time to strike. Strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, sometimes they miss on that. So I don't completely disagree with you. That's the thing about these matches is they could go either way, really. And I like that we have some matches we're not agreeing on
Yeah.
because let me tell you something, guys. The winner of this predictions
Oh
video,
no.
they're getting a 24/7 championship belt. I'm not I'm not saying it's some grand old belt. It might be a kid's belt off Amazon, but
Wait, wait,
it's
wait. It might be or it is because those are two different things.
it
Because
is it's a little kid. I mean
oh, because you
it's
said might be, and I was like, oh my God, that means there's the possibility. No.
No, it is not. It is not some grand Battle of the Books championship belt.
Oh, don't even.
Um.
Oh man, we could
Oh
commandeer
God,
it.
our fans don't know this. At the
No, they don't.
me and Brian work at, the students do a Battle of the Books. Um, and the winner gets a literal like championship belt. It's made out of
Custom.
custom, what I assume is metal. You pick this
It
thing up,
is.
you feel like the champ.
Yeah.
You feel like the champ. I like literally picked this thing up, posed with it like I'm Cody Rhodes, and then Brian will walk by sometimes, like he's always like, "Stop, man! You gotta put it down. That's too much power in one
Yep.
person's hand." So, although it's not as grand of a belt, um, one of us will have a belt after
Oh,
this year's WrestleMania. And going forward, we will be doing more predictions video
yes.
to see who is the longest reigning, who has the most championships
Ooh,
for the
this is good.
predictions video. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a whole
Well,
tally.
this thing has cachet now.
Oh yeah, I like that we're disagreeing a little bit. So we
Yep.
already have two matches that could determine who is the champ. So I'm very excited for this now. Brian, you got anything else on this match right here?
Nope. Moving along.
Let's move to our first SmackDown championship match. We got the US title on the line. Um this is another match we could be divided on. Um but Brian kind of talked me into this one, and I might have been able to talk Brian the other way. We got LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Either way, Solo Sikoa is going to interfere in this match
Hmm.
at some point. If it's after, I would say Jacob Fatu wins. If it's before, I'd say LA Knight wins. I am in the camp that this is happening during the match. Um, it could be another ref bump. It could be a straight up full fledged Samoan spike while he's in the corner. Because Solo has done that at every WrestleMania he's been at. He's gotten someone in the
Hmm.
corner, hit
Yep.
him with the spike. I could easily see him spiking Fatu. I
Yep.
could even see them after the match, after LA Knight picks up the pin. Spoiler, I think LA Knight's winning this match. Um, I could see both of the Tongans with a returning Tongaloa and Tamatonga all jumping him after the match because he's the Samoan werewolf. He's too dangerous, and he's trying to play a tribal chief role. Um, so I got LA Knight for those reasons. I don't have much to say about this match. Like I said, it was the best match available if we're gonna go with a singles match for LA Knight. So I am excited for the in-ring work rate of this match. Um, two guys that are hard hitters and will probably put on a pretty stellar match. I don't think in any world this is a bad match.
Oh, I got to rescue Will from WrestleMania 9, guys. We did a retro rewatch of WrestleMania 9, and I think Will is still stuck there because he's already had two rough bumps.
Yeah,
Apparently,
oh my God.
Will is stuck in 1993,
I know.
and a lot of refs taking bumps.
Yeah, I know. It's bad. It's really bad.
It's so fresh in your mind that you're like, a ref bump is a great idea.
Oh gosh, this is why we don't book wrestling events, guys. There be triple threats and ref
If,
bumps, guys.
if we would have been doing picks after we did a retro rewatch for WrestleMania 6, Will would have two countouts already. It would have been
Oh
countouts
yeah,
that were fresh in your mind.
two countouts in the title matches,
Yes.
and the title does not change hands.
Yep. And one bad news Brown just walking away. He didn't even it wasn't even getting counted out. He just left. Awesome. I love
Yeah.
him.
Oh,
Well, I'm going to LA Knight just like you will for similar reasons. Um, I think that Solo Sikoa, like you said, is getting involved in this match one way or another. I love the idea that Solo Sikoa is going to cost Jacob Fatu this match somehow, some way. I
yeah.
love that you said he goes to do the spike and hits Jacob Fatu instead. That would be great. Um, because I look at this and I look at Jacob Fatu, and you don't need to put a championship on him yet. You don't need to waste that uh silver bullet because he's the werewolf. You don't need to use that bullet yet on this because he's over like Rover. Everything he's doing is great right now, and there's more story to tell with him in the fallout with Solo Sikoa because Jacob Fatu seems to be a lone wolf. Man, how many more wolf ones can I fit in for Jacob Fatu?
You're doing good.
Silver
You're on
Bullet,
fire.
Lone Wolf. Um, so I feel like there's so much more still to go with Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and that new bloodline. And there's no reason to put the championship on him yet. Like it's not like this is almost the opposite of striking while the iron is hot with New Day. Right now, you have a commodity with New Day that if you don't do something with them, they're going to fade and nobody's going to care about what they're doing. With Jacob Fatu, if he doesn't go over, his story is just as hot as it was coming in. Everything
100%.
he does is what people like seeing what he does, and it's without a belt. You don't have to put a belt on Roddy Piper. You don't have to put a belt on Jake the Snake, and you don't have to put a championship on Jacob Fatu yet. So for those reasons, I'm going LA Knight. LA Knight. Yeah.
All right. I think we're kind of narrowing down to the big three on night one, our top three matches of the night one of WrestleMania. We are going with our WWE Women's Championship match between Tiffany Stratton, the champion, versus Charlotte Flair. This has been a weird feud, a weird build to this moment, but man, I'm entertained. Man, I'm ready. And unfortunately, y'all, I'll show my hand right away. Death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning
Ooh.
championships. I know it's not what everyone wants to hear, but Charlotte Flair comes back from injury every time, gets a belt, and then runs with it. And I'm sorry, I understand the heat she has right now might not be the best type of heat. People hate Charlotte Flair because she's literally trying to bury Tiffany Stratton mid feud. That's great. It's still heat. And if she were to roll with that title for a long period of time until Tiffany takes it off of her again, which is what I would personally do, she could roll with that belt till next WrestleMania. She's the queen. She has the it factor. She is annoying and she is easy to hate. And sometimes, especially on the women's side, it is hard for um them to get as much heat. It is. You only see a few that have that type of heat because on the women's side you have a lot of faces. That's a big problem we have right now.
Yeah.
You have Liv, who has undeniable heat, and then on that Liv Morgan level of heat, you only have Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when you go to the babyface side of it, you have Bianca, you have Io, you have Tiffany, you have Rhea, you have all these women who have this undeniable face love. Like just the crowd goes crazy for them. You need more heels. You need a strong heel champion, and I think it's Charlotte Flair all the way.
Well, we're having another disagreement. Because what time is it? Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. And if you would have asked me this after the Royal Rumble, if we would have done this, I'd have been picking Charlotte all day. You wouldn't have been able to convince me otherwise. But where we are right now in this feud, with what these two have been doing, I am so excited for this match because I want to see what happens if one of them screws up or somebody does a little botch or somebody's not um you know in right position, if somebody's a little bit too snug, I wonder what's going to happen. And I also think for that reason that's why Tiffany is going to win. I think they're going to cut their losses with this one. This feud has not been going the way they wanted. the only thing that gave this feud legs was these two getting a little bit personal, going off the rails a little bit,
Yeah.
and creating their own heat, which kudos, ladies. I mean, that's awesome. Be
Yeah.
awesome if they played us. That would be awesome. That would be some next level Montreal Screwjob stuff if they were like, hey, what we're doing's not working. And they just played everybody with this. That would be awesome if they created their own heat. I don't think that happened, but that'd be an awesome twist. But I think because of what's been going on, they are going to cut this whole thing and just cut their losses, have Tiffany go over and move on from there. So, Tiffy time.
Wow, this could be an interesting episode. I think this is probably the most we've disagreed on the pod so far,
Yeah, I think so.
which is not a bad thing,
No,
really. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they need some strong heel champions coming out of Mania, but we'll see. We really will see. Speaking of strong heel champions, we got our World Heavyweight Championship match. Um, the champion Gunther versus the Royal Rumble winner Jey Uso. Um, I'll start us off again because I'm excited for this one. I
yeah,
really am. They have drawn me back in. Um, First of all, quick shout out, quick point to Jimmy Uso. Save this feud.
yeah.
If I were them, that's the guy I roll with Money in the Bank. Future US champion. I don't care what it is. That dude saved this feud. Gave up his spot at WrestleMania so his brother can succeed. So kudos to him. This is not something I really need to go too in depth to. The iron is hot. There is not a superstar I have seen that is this over. The Yeet is literally a viral sensation. Um, you can't if they don't do it now, it's never gonna happen. And if it never happens with a guy that is this over, it would be a shame. I'm going Jey Uso.
We're back in agreement. I'm excited for this match. And I've wavered. You know, I've gone back and forth on
Yeah,
that. Where
I have two.
when Jay wins the Royal Rumble, and I go, "Oh, Jay's going over at WrestleMania. He's night one. It'll be feel good. We can end with main event Jey Uso beating Gunther. The confetti's coming down. He's the World Heavyweight Champion. We're kind of getting that. Just he's not so main event Jey Uso, and he won't get the confetti because it won't be the last match of the night. But other than that, it's going to be fun to see this match. I'm excited to see how these two are going to work a whole match together. Um, but Jay has to go over. It's almost like the New Day again, where I go, he's at a critical mass point right now, where if you don't have him go over, it could easily go the opposite direction with him, and people are going to jump ship. Not everybody. There's going to be the diehards that still love to eat and all that kind of stuff. But as far as people going with him on this ride, people are going to lose faith in him being able to carry the load at the top of the card. So put him over. Jay wins, and then we can see what he can do now in that spot. That's the part I'm excited for, is to see what comes next for Jay Uso after this win.
Yes, and amen on that. Anyone doubting the Jey Uso, like they can't pull the trigger on Jey Uso, my friends, they pulled the trigger on Damian Priest. No shade, no shade. I love
Nope.
my boy Big Damo. Phenomenal wrestler. I'm excited for his match. They pulled the trigger on Big Damo winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Jey Uso is 100 times more over.
Yep. And you don't hurt Gunther at all. You're not going to be hurting him at all by having this loss. He
Yeah.
can easily get this back. He's still a monster. It's not like you bury him by doing this. It's Jey Uso all day.
Yep. Totally agree. All right, Brian. Last night one match to touch on. We got the main event. The triple threat match. Brian, did you hear? It's the most important triple threat match in the history of wrestling.
Seth
Let
Rollins keeps telling us that.
I I know, and I want to actually put some golf claps, some snaps to my guy Rollins. He has made a feud that, man, most of us could care less about. Feels so important. He is done a while Roman Reigns and CM Punk have been fighting over who loves Paul Heyman more. Seth
Hmm.
Rollins has been able to give this match some actual life, some actual context. It's for the future of pro wrestling. That's why Seth is doing this. He could care less about Paul Heyman. Or is that what he wants us to believe? So, Brian, I could see this match going one of two ways. And I have it written down in my notes right here. I could see this going in the way where they are too busy fighting over Paul Heyman. And Seth Rollins gets the opportunity that he's been waiting for, and he stomps the both of them out. In that sense, I see Seth Rollins winning. There is also another prediction I have for this match. What if they're busy fighting over Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins is the real one that has Paul Heyman in his back pocket? Paul Heyman slides a chair into the ring. Paul Heyman slides some brass knuckles to Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is able to capitalize on his favor and pick up the win. Therefore, even though, Brian, I said to you today, it is weird to have the guy that is winning the match
Yeah.
standing tall on the go home show of WrestleMania. Either way, I'm not changing my pick. I'm standing strong. My guy Seth Rollins, he deserves a win in the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, if we're being honest, he has had some great points all along. Roman's a part timer. CM Punk just came back and wants the main event. He really has been the workhorse. And the reason I feel this strongly about Seth Rollins is even before this guy came back, Seth Rollins was literally holding the ship down. He was sailing the ship during the COVID era, during the COVID post COVID era. He was the workman's champion with the world heavyweight title when he was the visionary back in 2016, when he was the Kingslayer back in 2018, and he never got a WrestleMania main event. And now he finally gets one the previous 2 years, and he took an L last year. He deserves this, man. He really does. So, for all of those reasons, I'm not jumping ship. I'm going Seth Rollins. How we get there, I don't know. Maybe you have some insight for me on that.
Well, we all know it's not going to be Insight because, again, Otis and Tozawa. Um, but I will say I'm agreeing with you. I think Seth Rollins wins this match.
Right on.
The way that we get there is what's going to be the fun part. Because, like we said, opening this match, Seth Rollins can go out there and he can tell us until he's blue in the face that this is the most important triple threat match ever. This is the biggest match ever. It's not. Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, Icon versus Icon was a bigger match than this. So Seth Rollins can go out there and say all these things to us that he wants to. I don't believe it. If something doesn't happen in this match to take it over the top to be something more than just a triple threat match, I'm going to be disappointed.
Agreed.
So let me rattle your brain on this.
Go for it.
When Seth Rollins came out the other night, he makes one comment where he says he's the one who isn't afraid to do what's best for business. And he says that this is for the future of the industry. He's talking an awful lot like The Rock with the best for business. Now, here's the beauty with The Rock and this final boss character. This is not the same final boss from a year ago. We've said it before on this podcast that this version of the final boss, I finally get it. I finally understand who it is. It's The Rock's version of a Mr. McMahon or that corporate figure who's the authority person who has some legitimacy in the company because he's on the board and he owns all these shares. So the character that he's playing is a caricature of all three things. It's Dwayne, it's The Rock, and it's this final boss. Those are all the same. It's all the same character that he's finally perfected into this one persona. Now, what's great about that? What's great is that he doesn't need to be an omnipresent figure on weekly television or at all the pay-per-views because he has other people who can be doing things on behalf of him that carry that story forward. So my first thought was maybe something will happen on night one and the final boss comes down and he helps Seth Rollins and we get a big reveal that Seth Rollins is with the final boss. But as you were talking about it, I have something I think is even better, and I love this. What if Paul Heyman does help Seth Rollins for some unknown reason to us? He helps Seth win. They're standing in the ring. Both guys are down, and Paul Heyman is holding Seth Rollins' arm up in the air, and we're all thinking, "What the heck just happened?" Fast forward to night two. If The Rock gets involved in that match, we could be seeing something at the end of night two in the middle of that ring where it's not
You're reading my
two
mind.
guys in a mark, but it'll be three guys, a mark, and a wise man, all standing in that ring at the end of night two, and we all realize then this is the new power faction inside of WWE. The Rock doesn't have to be there each week because now Paul Heyman is the mouthpiece for the final boss. And then it all makes sense. And last year, a year ago, who was trying to stop The Rock from preventing Cody from winning the championship? John Cena, Seth Rollins. Cena's already hooked up with The Rock. I think Seth Rollins is next. So Seth Rollins wins this match from interference of Paul Heyman. We find out later in night two, we get the big reveal. It's all of them together. Rock, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Travis Scott, and Paul Heyman. All in the ring. We have our new power faction.
You're
Book.
reading my mind. You are reading my mind. That is literally that scenario is in my notes
I
for the
felt like
night.
I went in the wrestling matrix again just then. I
Yeah,
felt like I got there.
that is why I was literally smiling ear to ear in my desk chair today while you walked by. I am that excited about that idea. I
Yeah.
have that idea written down. There doesn't need to be an explanation night one. Why are
Nope.
they together?
Yep.
All of a sudden, Cena, Rock are giving Cody that butt whooping. Who comes out to save him? Seth Rollins. We think, oh my gosh, Seth is coming for Cody again. And he's going to team up with him again, just like he did last year. Stomp to the head.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. And you have that trio plus Paul Heyman plus Travis Scott. If we must, maybe he can give us a concert after John Cena wins. Um, doesn't matter. You have those five in the ring. That is your new group. You have Seth chasing Jay. Seth beats Jay. You have the most dominant faction that the WWE has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. Book it, but we're not there yet. Let's get through night two.
That's right.
Maybe I'm gonna try to talk everyone off the ledge. I'm gonna try. Maybe I'm lying to myself. Big Cody crybaby right here, as you can. Um, so I don't want to be sad this WrestleMania. So let me talk myself into it in a little bit. Um, let's move on to night two. Very excited for night two. We
Yep.
have not as many matches to talk about. Let's talk about Randy Orton really quick because he can make an appearance on
Yeah.
the show. Me and you both agree he's wrestling Nick Aldis. I
Yeah.
don't think Nick Aldis wins. Um, cool match.
Yeah.
Great, the former NWA champion, TNA champion in the ring, wrestling again. Um, for those that don't know, Nick Aldis has a bag. That dude is a phenomenal wrestler. He is very comparable to the guy he is facing. They actually both use an RKO as their finisher. Fun fact. Um, Shout out Nick Aldis. It'll be cool to see him wrestle. I
It
hope.
will be.
You can lock that in pretty much. Let's move on to our first scheduled match, and let's talk about Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I don't have a lot of notes on this, but I do have a little bit of a turn for you. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I think that Logan Paul picks up the win, not for the reason you think. If this is AJ Styles' last WrestleMania, he will win, and they can just push anything with Logan off for a little bit. But you kind of want to start building Logan towards what? Who knows? Um, U.S. title, IC title. He needs to start chasing something again. But you also need something for Logan to make him feel more legit. How do you get there? I think you give him a bodyguard.
Ooh.
I think you give him an undeniable, unstoppable force. You ready for this, Brian? This is
I
out of
I
left
have
field.
no idea where you're going with this. I'm excited.
I feel like I'm shooting from half court right now. But if this happens, it's crazy.
Oh, say Bronson Reed.
I'm not going to go Bronson Reed. I'm
Oh.
going very similar to a Bronson Reed story. Long time ago, WrestleMania 36, 37, I don't know off the top of my head. Once upon a time, AJ Styles won the tag team championships with Omos.
Oh.
Omos and AJ Styles were once champions together. Recently, Omos was in a promotion in Japan and he had to vacate the titles. Why? They asked. He's going back home. He's going back to WWE. He was in Japan working on his game. I think Logan Paul has the brass knuckles on. AJ Styles takes him off. All of a sudden, both men are down. You hear Omos music hits. You think, oh my gosh, he's coming to help AJ Styles. Who knows? Maybe he's under the prime bottle. Maybe it's a
Oh,
huge
yeah.
prime bottle coming to the ring.
That would be cool.
I have a note that that's probably going to be Mr. Beast.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. Who knows? It's always fun to guess who's under the prime bottle at WrestleMania. Um, but I think Omos fakes out AJ Styles and attacks him. And Logan Paul picks up the win, aligning himself with his new bodyguard, Omos. It gives Logan Paul a bit of a purpose. It makes him feel more posing. It makes him feel more dangerous. I think it's just a cool little way to give Logan Paul something to do, Omos something to do, and you can continue this feud.
Hmm. I like where you're at with Omos. I haven't even thought of that. I think this match is going to be a clean match. I don't think there'll be any shenanigans in this match. I mean this with no disrespect. Will, when we reviewed WrestleMania 6, we had Coco Beware versus Rick the Model Martel, and we had Rick Rude versus Barbarian. This is as close to those matches as you're going to get on this card. Let me explain. Nobody get angry. What I mean by that is that those matches were on that card with no build up, no story.
Yeah.
They were just there on the card so they can get in WrestleMania. This is one of those matches where I go, this stands out to me as we just want to get these guys on the show, and they have very little story going into it. With that being said, um, boy, I had who I wanted. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go way out into left field with this one. AJ Styles wins,
Mm,
but I think it would be cool for us to start to see a turn with Logan Paul. There was a few weeks ago, it might have been longer than that. It might have been closer to Elimination Chamber when he was in the ring one of those nights and he was talking and everybody was booing and all that kind of stuff. And he made a comment about, I think he was talking about like John Cena and he was kind of going through all of these legends and all that kind of stuff. It might have been when Randy Orton was in there. And he made a comment that there's going to come a day when all those people are going to be cheering for him. And everybody, of course, boos louder when he says that because we hate him. If Cody Rhodes is getting a mud hole stomped in him at the end of the night and Logan Paul's music hits and he runs to the ring and he helps Cody, tell me people wouldn't pop for that if he did that.
it would,
Instant
yeah, it'd
instant
be
face
weird.
turn. It would be weird, but would people not go crazy for that?
I don't know. That's such uncharted territory.
I
I love,
I don't know if we pull the trigger on a Logan Paul face turn, but
I don't know.
in Brian's crazy booking, I think AJ Styles is going to win. Um, I think he'll win clean. But if I get into my fantasy booking of what would be a really cool turn, would be a really good match because I think this is going to be a really good match. I think
Yeah,
these two guys have a chance to just tear the whole thing down because they can be electric in there. It would be cool if AJ Styles wins and they have a handshake after that match and
yeah,
Logan Paul is kind of taken down a peg and he gets humbled just for that 1 minute or that 1 second after that match to acknowledge if AJ Styles puts his hand out like, hey, you did good, kid. I got you, but you did good. If they have a handshake, you've already started a turn for Logan Paul. I'm just in love with the idea of Logan Paul being a hero for somebody at the end of this show. That would be so cool. It's not going to happen, but I think that would be such a cool thing, and I'll explain why when we get to that Cody match. I think maybe I'll be able to add a little bit more, but I'm picking AJ Styles for this.
all right, awesome. I don't think that's a bad pick. I think this is a coin flip of a match. Like you said, they're just on the card to be on the card. And speaking of on the card to be on the card, but they did a little something with it. Let's talk Drew McIntyre. Let's talk about our guy Damian Priest. Um, this is going to be a phenomenal match. I have on my notes. There's two matches I can highlight that Damian Priest kills it in a street fight. Of course, you have the infamous Bad Bunny match. I feel like I bring that up every pod.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every time we talk about Damian Priest, it was that good. It was that memorable for me. I love that match. And then you have the Pittsburgh Street fight with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. Go back and watch that one. It might be better than the first one I talked about. Because instead of two amazing wrestlers, that's right, guys, Bad Bunny is an amazing wrestler. Go watch him. You have four. It's a great match. I think this is no different. You look at two guys that probably both need a win and they can't both win. So you go with the bigger superstar. I just think that's your logic. I'm gonna go Drew McIntyre. He's the bigger superstar. I feel like he needs a win. So does Damian Priest, but I have on my notes Damian Priest needs a reset. He needs to lose in a big way. He needs to be bloodied and battered, and he needs to go away for a little bit. Why is that? Sometimes these big superstars have a good year and then they lose their title and they become a little stale and then they have another feud and it's not as great as everyone wanted it to be. But man, if they were to return at Money in the Bank as a
Mm-hmm.
surprise entrance, or they were to come back at SummerSlam to help out their guy, um, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, Damian Priest is back, everyone. Oh, do you remember Damian? I love him. So I feel like we need that moment for Damian. Also, he's been working nonstop for like the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Dude needs a little time off. I foresee that for Damian Priest. That's why I'm going Drew McIntyre.
You know, you make a interesting point with Damian Priest and talking about when a superstar has to go away and then come back and it kind of reinvigorates what they're doing. AJ Styles that we just talked about is a perfect example. He had
Yeah,
his whole feud and his whole arc with Cody. He goes away. When he comes back at Royal Rumble, he's over and everybody's happy to see him, you know. So I think there's a lot of stock in that's a rinse and repeat type cycle, but it happens to work. In this match, though, I think Drew McIntyre goes over. I think Drew has to.
yeah,
We've talked a couple of times about uh, not going over doesn't really hurt that wrestler that much. I think for Drew McIntyre, he's somebody who that does. If he doesn't win this match, I start to wonder what direction are you going with Drew McIntyre. So I think Drew McIntyre wins. Um, it's a Vegas street fight. My wife and I are like, oh God, I hope so badly that they do something super cool. They haven't said that they're going to do this, but I would love for them to do something legit cool that they would have done back in the Attitude Era, is literally close off a part of the strip or a part of downtown and let them actually have a fight on the streets of Vegas would be awesome.
that would be
We
dope.
already know that we can close down parts of the strip for the Formula One races. Um, They've had stages in the fountains for Bellagio for the Stanley Cup when Vegas is in it and have musical performances on there. So there's things that they're willing to do. I think that would be so awesome. I'm sure they won't
That's
do
dope.
that, but boy, how cool would that be? That would be such an awesome sight. Have them have a street fight that takes them back near the convention center at Caesar's Palace, which is the location where WrestleMania 9 was. Like, that's the nerd in me that would love to see that because I love seeing Vegas get put on display that way. I'm sure they won't do that, but that would be super cool. But I think Drew McIntyre goes over because Drew is going to be an interesting character. If this WrestleMania ends the way that I think it's going to, that I already kind of talked about, if we get a big reveal for this new power faction in the WWE, we start to get to a point where, it's not unlike the corporation that we talked about or the McMahon Helmsley era in the Attitude Era, that you start breaking people off into what side they're going to fall on. And Drew McIntyre is one of those people that I feel like you have such an awesome character in that he's somebody that you can use in that story any way you want to. He can bob from side to side because he's a wild card. So I think Drew McIntyre has to win because it keeps that character such a wild card for the coming storm if that happens. It feels like it's going to, but I think Drew becomes a really interesting character and an interesting piece on that chessboard.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Um, I think this is just going to be a good, entertaining match. You can put it in the middle of the show. It can pick up the
Yeah.
pace. You can get the crowd into it. So I'm excited for this match overall. Um, let's move on unless you have any more notes.
Nope.
That match. Let's talk about your girl. Let's talk about her. We got Liv
Lyra Valkyria.
Morgan. Do I not know something? Are we Lyra fans now on this pod?
Oh,
Hey,
oh, I didn't realize we weren't.
he's been doing better. This was a good week
Yeah.
for her,
Yeah,
actually.
it was.
Um, let's talk about this match. We got Lyra Valkyria and Bailey versus the champion Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. Judgment Day, if you want to call them that. They're really their own entity. They are
Hmm.
above the group at this point. Um, I don't have many notes on this match from an in-ring standpoint. All I know is after the match, when Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez win, Bailey will attack Lyra Valkyria, giving Lyra her first real feud on the main roster for the championship. Let me go back and touch on something I said earlier in the pod when I said that the women sometimes struggle to build a little bit more heat. I mean that in the most endearing way, that it is so hard to hate on some of these people, and you need to really try to build heat for them because the fans love them so much. Me and you, Brian, were perfect examples of that. We love Liv Morgan. You
Yep.
more than I. Liv
Well,
Morgan is phenomenal.
yep.
She is supposed to be a heel, but the way we talk about her, you would think she is a face.
Yep.
Same thing with a Rhea Ripley. You look at Rhea, top to bottom, this feud, she has been a heel. She has been doing heel things. She has reached stone cold levels of fanfare. It doesn't matter what she does, she is going to get cheered. So that's why sometimes you need to capitalize on the heat. I think Bailey, although loved in that same way, it doesn't matter if Bailey's a heel, a face, she's going to, there'll be people that cheer her, doesn't matter. Or go online and say, I love Bailey's work. Bailey is a better heel than she is a face. I feel like after this, you can give Lyra a good feud going forward versus a credible opponent. So therefore, I think it's just kind of weird that they're having Liv and Raquel be a kind of a pawn in that story, but it also gives Liv and Raquel a chance to get on the WrestleMania card. And gosh, does Raquel deserve it? But more importantly, Liv Morgan, she's my MVP this year.
Yeah.
Like this calendar year has been a phenomenal year for Liv. So kudos to her and, you know, Raquel too. And I just think it's important for them to continue to build this title reign and hopefully make it something big.
Well, there won't be any surprise here that Liv and Raquel are winning this match.
Mm-mm.
Um, I agree with you that Liv's been the MVP. She's made every story that she's been in better. And when she lost that championship to Rhea Ripley, we were on here and I was saying that it just made me nervous that she was going to Homer Simpson back into the bushes and just kind of fade away and get mixed in with everybody else, which would have been a shame because she's doing such great work right now. And it fills me with confidence for what creative does because they had plans for her that they're doing and keeping her relevant. And this is one of the reasons why she's the MVP because she's shining bright in whatever situation they're putting her in. She's elevating it. And, sometimes you can have a script for a movie and you could have two different actors read it and it's not so much the words, it's who can perform it better and make you believe. And Liv is one of those people this past year. She's taken the words on the page, but she's done something with them. You know, the old talking point back in the day was Terry Taylor was the Red Rooster. And the Red Rooster was such a dumb gimmick that you had somebody, he's got to spike his hair up in the middle red and actually say cock-a-doodle-doo. And it's a horrible gimmick, but like Bruce Pritchard always says, there's bad gimmicks, but go ahead and make it work. Not every gimmick is great, but the great superstars and the great performers can take anything and make it work. The Undertaker is, by definition, his original dead man gimmick is a crazy, ludicrous idea. You know, God, pal, you're a grave digger. Yeah, you're a grave digger, and you work at a mortuary and you build caskets, and you're gonna have Paul Bearer and Brother Love. It's gonna be great. And you go, that is a crazy character. The performer performing it is so good that character works. So Liv is a good example of she elevates anything she does because she is in the zone right now. So they're going over. That is not even a question. They're winning. I think it's a double-edged sword, like you said. We get Liv and Raquel onto the card, but you also put them in a program where the Intercontinental Championship is. Raquel had her chance at getting that. I feel like Liv is going to get in on that too. I still think we're building up eventually with Liv and Raquel a breakup, a la Shawn Michaels and Diesel. We're gonna, so we have to get there to that point, and I think having them mix it up in this tag match, we start sowing seeds for Raquel and Liv to be vying for that IC championship. And then once that happens, now we have more story to tell with those two on the breakup. We're not there yet, but this is just some seeds that we're planting to get to that point. Long term storytelling. That's what Triple H does. And I think that's in this match. There's going to be things we're going to go back and look at a year from now and talk about it and say, oh, yeah, that happened in this match. But Liv and Raquel win.
Yeah, you're gonna be in Vegas, right?
That's right.
I might need to give you a couple hundred to go throw down on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for this match, man. Bet the house on this
Oh,
one.
those
There's no
odds have to
way.
be crazy.
There's no way
Yeah.
that Lyra and Bailey win this match. You match that with like what's another obvious match? You match that with a little
Jey
parlay.
Uso and Gunther.
Oh yeah, you give Jey Uso, put Jey Uso,
Yeah.
Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, man. Throw you a
Put a little
couple.
parlay together.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's Vegas, man. You have to. I talked about the big three on night one. Let's move into our big three on night two. Let's start with our Intercontinental Championship match. I think the build for this has actually been pretty good considering the cast of characters that we have. I think there's a lot of people excited for this match, me included. We got the champion Braun Breaker versus Penta versus two members of the Judgment Day. We got Dirty Dom and Finn Balor. Um, Most believe that Finn Balor's in this match just to take the pinfall. I'm gonna talk you guys into why that's not happening. I have Finn Balor winning this match, and here is why. I think there is a lot of people that believe that Dominic Mysterio is going over in this match. I don't blame you. The obvious answer is the fact that the Judgment Day is going to be out there. If you have this match back to back with Liv and Raquel, they can literally just stay out there. You can have Dominic turn his back on Finn, have him pick up the win. Or you could have a new member of the Judgment Day come out and you could have them help and help Dominic win the match. That's not what WrestleMania is about, though. WrestleMania has never been about the obvious. I have Liv Morgan putting a steel chair to the back of Dominic Mysterio in this,
Oh boy.
splitting the two up, starting the breakup, and I have Finn Balor capitalizing. And I would be wrong if I didn't tell you that this is Brian's idea, actually.
That was my idea.
This is Brian's idea. And Brian has brought up plenty of good points about this. Who took the hotel key card?
Finn.
That'd be Finn Balor. Who got out of the back seat with Liv Morgan,
Finn.
arriving to Monday Night Raw? Finn Balor. Oh, yeah. And guess what, guys? The little stuff matters. Just like when Brian said Seth Rollins, best for business. Who else said best for business? John Cena. You want to know the last time Seth Rollins was talking about best for business? When he turned his back on the Shield. Trust me, every little thing
Yeah.
matters, guys. What did Carlito tell Dominic? I got your back. Don't worry. Guess what his finishing move is? The backstabber. Oh, how poetic it would be if Dominic Mysterio caught a backstabber from Carlito. And guess what? Maybe it's a returning JD McDonough that helps him out too.
Oh.
There is a ton of stuff that makes sense. And guess what? Wrestling is all about moments. It's all about pulling this storyline from here to bring it here. Guess what, guys? What if a face Dominic Mysterio wins the belt at SummerSlam with the help of
Mhm.
a returning Damian Priest?
Oh.
Gotta stay thinking from every storyline. I'm telling you guys, this is the stuff that I spend way too much time thinking about for Dominic Mysterio just to turn his back on Finn Balor and win the IC title. But I digress. I don't think Braun retains regardless. If you would ask me 2 weeks or so ago, I would have told you that Braun Breaker's the favorite to win this match and keep his title. I'd have him at the bottom of the totem pole. I think Penta has a better chance.
Hmm.
I think either one of your Judgment Day members are your top two. I'm just going with the unexpected. Brian, what do you got?
Hmm. Well, I'd love to say I agree with me, um, because I love that idea that I came up with,
It's a
but
great one.
I am going with Dominic Mysterio is winning this match.
Yeah,
Um, I love the idea of it being a red herring that Finn is who's going to get turned on. But I feel like we've been foreshadowing the return of his demon character. I feel like that's something
yeah,
that's going to happen um, in a very needed, dramatic moment. He'll get kicked out, and then when he comes back, he's going to need that demon is going to come out. Um, so I feel like they've kind of set that up, and this is going to be one that probably seems maybe one of the more obvious ones where we're expecting um, there to be a turn and somebody get kicked out of Judgment Day. I think it will be Finn. I think they are going to turn their back on Finn, and Dom is going to pick up the win. Um, it was an interesting match with Braun Breaker and Laparca the other night, and there was another botch in that match, and
Parka, dog.
I just don't know if it's a Penta, it's a Braun Breaker and Penta.
Yeah, you did. You did. My bad.
Um, so when those two are working together, um, I don't know what's going on with those guys. If they just have trouble working together or if there's something else. I don't know, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of people protecting Penta in this match. And I think Finn's probably going to be doing a lot of work. Dom's going to be doing a lot of taking bumps and selling. And Braun Breaker is going to be wrecking a bunch of shop. And Penta will try to do that sacrifice move that he needs to stop doing that. It has already lost all meaning when he does that. Um, he used it on Finn Balor the other night, and God bless Pat McAfee, New Gorilla. I dubbed him New Gorilla Monsoon recently, and he did it again the other night on commentary. Penta does that sacrifice, breaking the arm, pulling it out of the socket. Finn gets up and is able to counter and go on the offensive. And Pat McAfee says, "Boy, he popped that thing back in. Boy, it must have popped. His shoulder must have popped back in." It's like, yes, thank you. You're making it worse, Gorilla, by drawing attention to it that you're right. You guys keep saying how devastating this maneuver is, that you can dislocate a shoulder, but people work after it happens. He needs to stop doing that. Um, but I think something's going to happen where you're going to have Laparca, Braun Breaker, and Finn Balor are going. There's going to be a spot that's going to happen that all three of them are taking out, and Dom's going to slide in and get the cover and get a sneaky mustache twirling villain victory and get the 1, 2, 3. And I think you get to build it up more now with Dom having the IC championship and being the new head of the Judgment Day. And we get to work this story forward with Dom basically just failing as a leader.
Um, Brian, these last two matches here are probably the two matches I might be most excited for on the
Hmm.
whole entire WrestleMania card. They've had the best build, they've had the most shocking turns on the road to WrestleMania. You have first, let's talk about the women's triple threat. You have three of the biggest superstars in maybe the history of women's wrestling right now, currently for sure, maybe the three biggest. You have Io Sky, the champion, versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Three beloved superstars in one match against each other. Brian, I almost want to guarantee we're on the same page here. Um, I think to build towards the future, you need strong heel women's champions. But how do you get there in this match? Rhea is untouchable, stone cold levels of babyface love. There's not a person you talk to that doesn't like Rhea Ripley. And if you go to a WWE event, you're not cheering Rhea.
Yep.
You're in the crowd, you're cheering for her. You have to be. She's that type of star. Io Sky is working her way there. She really is. Io Sky is beloved by the fans. In the ring, she might be the best out of the three, which might be the greatest compliment you can give someone
Yeah.
talking about Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair being the other two workers. So that leaves me with Bianca. And for the longest time, I thought Bianca had this untouchable level of babyface appeal with the fans. But all of a sudden, these boos start trickling in as we go overseas. Why that is, I'm not sure. Maybe they just don't like Bianca overseas. We get back to the States in Madison Square Garden, and I'm almost positive Bianca's going to start getting cheered again when she's the special guest referee. All of a sudden, she gets booed walking out. This is something that happens sometimes with these over the top babyface characters, and you have to capitalize. How do you capitalize? It's a softball. It really is. You have Naomi come out and you have Naomi realign herself with Bianca Belair, having Bianca Belair pin Rhea Ripley, taking away Io Sky's championship, and on top of that, keeping her WrestleMania undefeated streak at 5-0.
Hmm.
Guys, this is stuff they think about. Triple H has been documented saying if there's one thing he would go back and redo, he would redo Undertaker's streak. He gets a redo here. He really does. Bianca is that type of powerhouse. She's that type of character. She's that type of worker that can work for a very long time and build a WrestleMania streak that is unforgettable. They have the chance to do it. I hope they don't mess it up. I hope Bianca wins this match with the help of Naomi, building towards Brian a Jade Cargill Bianca Belair blow off match at SummerSlam.
Ooh, boy. You went into the wrestling matrix a little bit there because now you're making me want to change my mind. Um, I love that idea of this is how, because they wanted to try to build to Jade and Bianca
Yes,
before the whole we need to injure her so she could go work a little bit. Um, so it
absolutely.
seems like they were going in that direction,
They were.
and this would be a good way to pick that back up. The only thing that worries me about that is I don't know if they would feel comfortable putting Jade into that spot for that championship. That might be a little bit too that might be a little bit too raw of a wound, especially if Jade doesn't have a great match. Um, TBD though, I mean, we don't know if that's going to happen. She's been doing good work since. So you make a good point about the streak for Bianca. Um, but I'm going to go Rhea Ripley. I really don't want to say Rhea Ripley because that seems like the super easy way to book this match. If if this is the reason, if you're going to have her win, why did you ever take the championship off of her to begin with? I guess you wanted to get this triple threat uh, for some reason. I get you wanted to get everybody onto the card, and this is a way to do it. Um, so maybe you had to take the belt off of her to get to this point. Um, but it almost seems like a dog chasing its tail if she wins. But I also think that she's going to win. Rhea's going to go over again. Fans, we love her regardless of if she's a face or a heel. She's in that rarefied air. I think she wins. I think it'll be relatively clean. Although you could always play the angle if she pins Bianca, you could always have Io Sky still clinging to the Rhea Ripley has never defeated me because that's still something too that Rhea's never beaten Io Sky.
Mhm.
So there's still that story that they could tell more of that
There is.
because that's already baked in. So I think Rhea Ripley wins. I'm just not sure how we get there, but honestly, it's a coin flip. Any one
It
of those three
is.
could win, and I would believe it,
Yeah.
and I would believe the reason why they would put them over. So this one's a really hard one, but I'm gonna go Rhea Ripley.
I feel like we are playing into the storyline almost right now. We are underestimating the champion,
Yep.
and that is just the easiest storyline. It is very reminiscent of the triple threat from night one. If you look at these two
Yeah.
triple threats, it's not quite different on how they're booking them. You have two people in each match: Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, that are underestimating one person in the match for one reason or the other. You have one group focused on Paul Heyman, you have the other focused on the hatred of each other. So they're not quite different. So who knows? Maybe Io Sky steals it. Like you said, this is a 33.3%
Yeah.
chance for each of them. Really, it is a coin flip of a match. It is who is going to capitalize on that other 0.1%. Who is going to pick up that extra 0.1? That's some Steiner math for you guys here on Wrestling
I
with the Realm. Brian, are you ready to move
think
on
so.
to our last match of WrestleMania? This is a very few times you can point out a once in a lifetime match. This is it. If you would have told me 10 years ago that the main event of WrestleMania 41 would have been Stardust versus John Cena, I would not believe you. But it is Cody Rhodes versus John Cena versus for the undisputed WWE Championship. Man, this I was sitting with this one at my desk all day because like you said, the one that makes sense, you have Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Travis Scott, the final boss, John Cena, all in the ring at the end of WrestleMania 41. with the title standing over Cody Rhodes. It makes sense. Like you said, this is not the end of this story, it is
Mm-mm.
just the beginning. We've been saying that since October.
Yeah.
Really, since Bad Blood. We have been saying that. That being said, man, there is a chance. There's a reason I got this shirt on right now, guys. I've been hearing the rumblings. They didn't get it last year. I'm hearing they got it this year.
Hmm.
Triple H saves his home runs till the bottom of the ninth. He really does. Last year, it was the phenomenal main event of night two. I mean, that is one of the greatest wrestling matches I've ever watched. Was it overbooked? Yes. It was extremely overbooked. You had about nine people come out. But I have a feeling that this one is going to be just a little overbooked. The Rock comes out. He's attacking John Cena. Cody Rhodes, and the glass shatters. And if the glass shatters, there's no more powerful entity almost in the WWE than Stone Cold Steve Austin. And if Stone Cold comes out, it would be a shame if Cody Rhodes were
Yeah.
to still find a way to lose this match. It just wouldn't add up. I don't even know if Stone Cold would agree to it. To come out, take out The Rock and John Cena, and still find a way to lose? I don't know. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I know me and you were discussing it a little bit
Hmm.
today, saying that who knows, you could still have Seth slide into the ring. Both John Cena and Cody Rhodes are both getting up, and then he needs to choose which one he's gonna stomp, and he ends up stomping Cody. I mean, you could work it like that. You really could. You could have Stone Cold just brawl with the Rock all the way to the back, like it's the Attitude Era. I mean, seriously, I just I don't see a world where Stone Cold comes out and Cody loses. I do think Stone Cold's coming out at WrestleMania 41. Therefore, I'm locking it in. I do think Cody Rhodes is going to retain, therefore killing any logic of the John Cena heel turn. Really does make me think John Cena is actually going to win, but I'm sitting here as a Cody crybaby in denial that he's losing his championship.
Whoo, boy. I'm going John Cena.
Fair enough.
John Cena. If you don't have John Cena win, just said it. What are we doing with this heel turn
Yeah.
if he doesn't win? We've talked about this numerous times that this WrestleMania, more than a lot of others, feels like the beginning or the middle of stories, not the end. Sometimes we have happy endings at WrestleManias, sometimes we don't. And when I think of the ones that weren't so happy endings, I think of Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon standing in the ring together. And I go, that was how a WrestleMania ended. And it wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Weird that we're doing a similar storyline this time. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to end happy. I think John Cena wins. He wins his record championship. I think the three guys, a Mark and a Wise Man, come down to the ring after. I feel like there'll be shenanigans after the match, but not during it. Because, like you said, I think if anybody gets involved during the match, if you have Stone Cold get involved during the match and Cody loses, it's a weird thing to waste Stone Cold on. So I think the glass shatters and Stone Cold comes out also, but I think it's after the match after the win already happens, and we could even have other run-ins if they start doing a beatdown on Cody like they did after Elimination Chamber, where we have, you know what I'm saying? Like we have after the match where now they're going to put a beating on Cody. And I think you can have other people come out, like last year, how we overbooked it to come out and help. And this is where I love the idea of like a Logan Paul coming out. We already had him earlier where we saw him turn a little bit with a handshake with AJ Styles and he was brought down a peg. That I think that would be super cool. Again, that's not going to happen, but I think that that would be super cool if Logan Paul is somebody that comes out to help Cody Rhodes. Because another person I thought about was Drew McIntyre. Because I think about last year and you go, okay, Jey Uso came out and helped, and that made sense because Jimmy was out there. John Cena comes into the ring because The Rock is there, and The Rock quickly dispatched him and got rid of him last year. Um, then you have Undertaker come in and equal the score. So I think about this year, well, who could come out to the aid of Cody? And I look at this night two, who's there, who makes a big impact to get a pop off of that. Drew McIntyre would be somebody if he comes down and he tries
Yeah.
to help Cody. That would be fulfilling that wild card that I was talking about. But if he comes out and helps Cody because he's so anti um, The Rock and that group of people getting what they want, which he seems to be really against that type of a thing. He tried warning Cody way back when about
Yeah.
this. Um, like I said, Logan Paul, but I think Stone Cold is that very last reveal that comes in and can clean house and save Cody from the big beatdown that he's about to get. But I think that happens after the match, after Cody already loses. We will get Stone Cold, and now we can start to work Cena with the belt. And there's a lot of directions that you can go there now that you have a championship on one of these people in Three Guys, a Mark, and a Wise Man. Like you legitimize them more than you did before as an actual faction or as this uh, future of the industry, which is ironic with John Cena holding that because he's not the future, but
The last
he's
real champ.
the last real champ, and he's taking his ball and going home, and then he's leaving it with Seth Rollins and the final boss to do what's best for business. Because it all goes what's best for. It'd be awesome if Stone Cold came down and attacks Cody because that's best for business.
Oh my gosh.
That would be amazing. That's definitely not
That'd
going
be
to happen.
crazy. That'd be
Um,
nuts.
but I think Cena wins. I think Stone Cold will show up, but I don't think he's going to have an impact on the match proper. I think it'll be afterwards trying to help Cody from an even worse beatdown than what he's going to get by those guys. Although we still have to get that Travis Scott receipt, don't we?
Yeah, at some point. Maybe
That,
it's later down the line.
yeah, that does have to happen. Yeah.
Man, if Stone Cold attacks Cody Rhodes, it'd be three old farts in a mark. It really would.
Real farts and a mark.
It really would be, man. Shoot.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Three
Man,
old farts and a mark. I like that.
to say the least, we are in store for a he does it every year, man. Triple H, he kills it.
Yep.
Um, we're in store for another amazing WrestleMania, and we are very excited for it. Brian, you might be there. Who knows?
I might be there.
It's
I
looking that
might be there.
more and more. So night one, right?
Night one, yeah.
One. Oh, that's a good one to be at. You
Yeah.
might you might get to see the beginning of three old farts and a mark. Who knows?
I love that. I love
Um,
that. That's so good. Yeah, if we do go to Mania, it'll be night one. Because we got NXT for sure. We're doing that during the afternoon on Saturday. Sunday night is the roast of WrestleMania. Um, so we don't want to kind of mess with timing on that, getting back from the stadium and all that kind of stuff, yada yada. So Saturday would be our open night that that we're gonna try to make it there.
That man's gonna be busy in Vegas, y'all. He is
Yep.
gonna be busy. It's not a bad thing to be.
Nope.
Man, you're gonna be surrounded by
A peep.
this is your first video that you're watching. Um, hey, subscribe, join the WWR family. Everyone's invited. Um, we are very excited. You're gonna be at WrestleMania. You're just gonna be in the atmosphere. That's the most
Right.
important thing. Um, so we're excited for that. We're excited for WrestleMania. This is so exciting that this is our first WrestleMania with all of you guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed the ride so far and it does not stop here. We will have stuff filmed. There'll be a WrestleMania weekend review. It might be like 5 hours long. Who
Yeah,
knows?
it'll be
Talk,
fun.
we might need to talk some Mania, some stand and deliver, some roasting of WrestleMania. Who knows? Who knows what we'll be talking about?
Yep.
Um, and after that, just kind of stay tuned. We'll see where this road leads us. Past this, you can expect some more overrated, underrated. You can hopefully expect some wrestling interviews with some actual wrestlers.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows where that goes? But stay tuned on that. We got some stuff in the works. Um, And Brian, you got anything else for him on this last episode before WrestleMania?
Just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you haven't already, if you haven't been over to the Realm Paranormal Podcast, go over to that channel. Check us out over there. We have some pretty awesome paranormal content. We talk about a lot of different stuff over there. Got a new season that's going to be starting, talking about a lot of paranormal investigations and a lot of evidence review, and getting some of the evidence that the gang caught over in Ireland, getting some of that out to you guys. So it's going to be a fun season. So head over to the Realm Paranormal Podcast and check us out.
Yeah, and one more thing, maybe a WrestleMania Royal Rumble
Oh yeah,
91 review coming
yeah,
soon.
yeah. X
That'll be
Retro rewatch. We were
our,
asked.
yeah, we were asked our first request, so
Yes, we
shout
got a
out.
request for Royal Rumble 91.
Yes, shout out to the person that requested that. As always, you guys can leave requests for retro rewatches, people you want to see in overrated,
Ooh,
underrated.
that's a good one.
Um, Even my guy Joe, our guy Joe, today he gave me a wrestler he might want to see in Who Fits the Faction.
Oh, who was it?
Sid Vicious.
Oh, he did mention Sid to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know what faction I'd put him in, but we'll figure that out. Maybe I'll intentionally try to get him in one of these.
Yeah,
Because
Sid was in the Four Horsemen. So it's an interesting time for Sid because where would he fit in some of these other ones? That's not bad.
yeah, no, it's definitely something to think about going forward. So any of those things, you guys drop them
Yeah.
down. Even just random topics you guys want to see us talk about in wrestling. So we're very excited for the future and very thankful and blessed for having you guys on this road to this WrestleMania with us.
Yep, it's gonna be fun.
Brian, you want to send us off?
Yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. He's Will, I'm Brian, and we'll catch you guys next time on WWR Wrestling with the Realm podcast. Peace.
I'm about to get on this podcast and tell everyone some absolute that is not winning. I'm gonna try to convince a few of them though. Hey, he's got a chance. I got
Good
my
luck.
I got my boardwalks. It's white slushy flavored alcohol.
Oh,
It's not great, but
it's not great.
yeah. A little post credit review for everyone. It's not good, but
It's not good, but you got it.
I got it. Okay, let me. I'm gonna send the picture to Brian, y'all. What I'm really just trying to show you guys is how similar these two dudes look. The fact that now I have to, because the fact that they're literally saying that Penta pays tribute to La Parka. You guys can't tell me these aren't the same exact people. I know Brian likes to mess around and say this, but guys,
He does. He really does.
oh, I gotta get in the right. Like, I, I'm just gonna send it to Brian. This could go in the bloopers right here, but like, they look the exact same.
Yeah, pretty much.
And La Parka's better.
I was just gonna say the bell rings and Laparca can go.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, go get another Fizzlebee or whatever the heck it is. You got that? I don't know. What's it called?
It's called Boardwalk.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
do
we'll get
love,
him on board as a sponsor. Boardwalk, you're welcome. Your stuff's great.
yeah, yeah, Boardwalk. I definitely did call your product here.
Oh, God.
All
All
right,
right.
man. I'll see you.